Disclaimer lang I was just put here kay Boy Silibutangan sa akin. Anyway, as doctors, I think one of the things that we really wanted or need is control. And yet to start with, by the time, one of the most important times in our lives is our conception. And that is one of those things as also that we have the least control of. Imagine by the time that you are conceived, all your genes, all your attributes, all your idiosyncrasies are determined then and there. And you have nothing, you could not do anything about it. What I'm trying to say is, what I'm driving at is the concept of having God as your grand weaver. He would take all of those very minute things that you won't even remember, things that you think are are quite unimportant, and yet He would actually weave these things for you, or to make you, to mold you, and to use you. That's what I'm driving at, and that's what my disclaimer is. Whatever it is, what you think might be laudable for you in this testimony, it was the Grand Weaver that braided it all. Now, I would like to start with my childhood because I believe that's where I got most of the things that I'm going to talk about now. I thank my parents that I have a very good childhood. I have a very happy childhood, but not a life of luxury, but a life of want. I really like to play with my toys, but I don't have toys to start with because limited lang ang funds. So I started making my own toys. My father helped me, and then later on, once he didn't have enough time, I made it myself. So ano ang connection niya that? Number one, wala ko end ang childhood ko. Number two, I'll show you later on the things that I learned during my childhood, making stuff na dala ko, even until medicine and beyond. And that is how I made use of the whatever talents that the Lord gave me. For example, if you remember David, we knew him as the slayer of the giant and as a psalmist. And before, we just knew David as it is, but we never realized that before he became that, he spent countless years playing with his harp, making psalms. Initially, I believe he made really bad poetry, but he got better and he practiced on his sling. That's what I'm getting at. People aren't inherently talented or excellent, but eventually I think some people or those people probably made use of the time, the idle time given to them, and my result. For example, this one I made as a PT intern. I made a manual. I learned how to draw on my own, make things. I like comic books, but you can't buy comics, so you make your own. Until eventually, initially I was able to make that dot matrix printer. I made my own binding, and I sold it. And I got enough money for mga review and whatever pocket money. Eventually, during my residency, I heard there's a technology where you could get, if you could only have a suction device, you could apply it in the wound, and the wounds become, or there's very good results. And I heard from somebody, why not use an aquarium pump? And so, from that, you have an inquisitive mind, you tinkered, you failed, you succeeded, and eventually it came like this. We eventually came up with an aquarium pump that sucks, and we were able to use it in patients. And eventually, we got help from the UST, we got the paper published. There was something good that came out of tinkering. Another thing is, during the pandemic, while everybody is locked down, actually those were the best times of my life. You're just there at home. So, again, nothing to do, or actually, no, you have a lot to do and all the time to do it. So, nagkuti-kuti, eventually, you made up powered respirator that was used for the pandemic. Okay, and actually, a lot of people got that. Okay, during that time, you don't have Lazada, you don't have Shopee anymore, or you cannot buy a lot. So, whatever ang available, mo lang yung magamit mo. So, So, what's my point here? I'm just thankful nga my testimony is being able to use whatever God gave you, and eventually, though basically you're given the talent, and instead kang bury mo, you put it to some use. Well, some medyo na-bury mo manggit, but saro-saro mo ng iban. I think, Manong Errol made me talk in front of you now just for, a lesson of using your time in whatever idiosyncrasies you have, and I have a lot, to some good use. Okay, just to illustrate, our theme is, or the theme for this section of the talk would be stewardship of talent, excellence in medicine. Now, I need to tell you guys, those of you who are still training, studying to become physicians, if you put enough hard work, chances are, there's a big chance you will succeed. Now the thing is, what's the difference between a person who has Christ and a person who has no Christ? What's their difference when they do succeed? My inspiration actually came from an old movie, Chariots of Fire. If you look it up, it's a very old movie. It won an Oscar for Best Film, but however, in today's standards, hindi naging siya naka-flashy. But I think that it's with the story and with the dialogue. The story of Chariots of Fire is about Eric Liddell. He's a British, it's actually a story of two contrasting alpha males. One is Eric Liddell, a British runner, another British runner, Harold Abrahams. And ang striking na giti sa story is si Eric Liddell, he was supposed to run relay. However, the relay in the Olympics, 1922 Olympics, was scheduled on a Sunday. And he refused to run on the Lord's Day. The only thing left for him is a sprint, sprint, which he did not train to. And so and he entered, ang conflict niya lang guys, his sister was telling him, why do you keep on stressing yourself with this? Anyway, you're planning to be a missionary. You're planning to go to China after this. Why join the Olympics when you're just going to go there anyway? And so John Liddell said to his sister, actually it's a movie lang din, but the dialogue is really good. And he told his sister, I believe God made me for a purpose, for China. But He has also made me fast. And when I run, I feel His pleasure. Contrast that to another alpha male, ang upod niya, which is Harold Abrams. And Harold Abrams is a very, very competitive man. And somebody even asked him how he felt about loss, and he told that person arrogantly, I don't know, I haven't lost yet. But he said, during the time na iyan event, ang ano niya is, he said, I've known fear of losing, but now I'm almost too frightened to win. I have but 10 lonely seconds just to justify my existence, and I don't know if it would. These are two people who ran, and these two people won. They won the gold medals. But the difference between the two is, and this is my inspiration to it, is the difference between the two is, one knew where his place is in the general scheme of things. He knows where his gold medal is. He knows where his victory or his excellence is. I know my purpose. I know where God put me, and I'm going there. I'm going to be a missionary in China. That's what will define me. The other one, he got the gold medal as well. But if you listen to his life, ang ginapanghambal, what he really craved for was contentment. And he said, I've been pursuing it all the years of my life, and I'm now 24 and I still don't know what to pursue. I'm just running and I don't know what to pursue. And so this is where you are, or this is where you could put yourself into. If you're a Christian doctor, you have great potential already inherent sa imo nga position. If you're a Christian, whether you experience success or failure, your primary problem has already been solved. You are already a child of God. You already know your general meaning, why you're here. You already know where you're going in eternity. And you know your general purpose. And you know who you need to please. If you don't have Christ, and believe me, if you think medicine is hard right now as students, wait until your residence. And if you think residency is hard, wait until you are a consultant with a family, earning for yourself. Because that's where you will learn, you will see the contrast. If you do not have Christ, or even if you have Christ, you will feel envy. You will feel insecure with others. The way you treat your patient, whether you receive a patient or not, differs a lot. If you only have yourself to depend on, lain ang pangita mo pasyente. Because if you only have yourself to provide for you, lain ang pagpangita mo pasyente. Contrast that to if you have Christ, mamagati Lord, datuan ni ka pasyente ang may utang sa akin, palihog lang. Gari sila kwarta. Pero matagal mo po kwarta. But lain. gives you a lot of peace. And even if as you're growing old, kita mo na, others might rise and you know you're going to be replaced eventually. But if you have Christ, at least, despite your insecurities, you can say, if the Lord takes this away, whatever it is, I know He'll provide yapon. And I know where I am. And this is applicable not only through excellence, but also through your trials. And you will have a lot. More so if you're a Christian. Because I've learned that eventually, you grow more. You're tested both in your success and in your failures or in your pains. You're tested when you're happy and when you're not. I do not know which one is worse or which one is the greater test, success or failure. But if you have Christ, you have something to hold on to. Main problem of solved na. Smaller problems na ng iba. Okay? And so, I end with that. Your life, or I see that I had my child once ask me, out of the blue, if you have to change something, if there's a chance, if you have a chance, you're given the chance, do you want to change something in your life? So I thought for a while, and then he said, siya nag-answer sa akin, you don't want to change anything, no? Why? I think, yeah. He said, because you know if you change something, you might not have all of this now. Well, correct. Good. All the pains, all the disappointments, all the problems, all the success, whether big or small, you know, if you have God as your grand weaver, you know ginatagpi-tagpi na He puts together all those threads. And right now, you just might see the back of the tapestry or just an unfinished tapestry. But in the end, you'll get to see how He made you, how He made your life beautiful, despite or through the good and bad. And so with that, I offer this outlook, my testimony on his life. I do hope, well, actually, damo pa ni Tani ang balinong erol nga, damo pa kita Tani maobra kung hindi ka lang kusik pagit sa iba niya time sa mga hindi mo na ka-importante. That's why I decided nga hindi na ko mamati kayo ng error. Okay. So that's it. Thank you.